I want to ask the age-old question. I have discussed this with almost all my friends. Is it better to buy an apartment or is it better to buy a house?
Buying a property is must. Now,
Okay.
buying an apartment versus a house, it goes a scenario based.
Right.
There is nothing right and wrong in it. But depending on how you want return on your investments.
Okay.
Now, the history, when you look into it, the data in South Australia, for example, the apartment value, if you look into like 5 years back versus now, or a unit which was sold 5 years back versus now, what is the growth what you have received?
Yeah.
And the same thing if you look into for the house with a bigger land, so if it is 500 square meter land versus 100 square meter
Unit.
land on the unit, so the growth when you see it's apartments have the lower growth versus the house.
Okay.
Now, again, right and wrong is what you need to choose for yourself. Because say, for example, if I want to live closer to city where I want less commuting time, etc. So in that scenario, I want to be closer to the city. Now, closer to the city, if I'm buying a bigger house, the cost is going to be say
Massive.
600 to 700,000 minimum.
Yeah.
And if you have to wait for 3 to 4 years, so in that case, at least to get yourself into the apartment and start your journey so that you are not paying the rent and it goes towards your own house.
Okay.
And then down the track, when you are ready, you can purchase a bigger property, you can purchase a house. So you can pick and choose your scenarios accordingly.
Got it.
Lot of time in Sydney, Melbourne, I have clients where they are renting into the city because they want to be close to the city.
Yeah.
And then they have the investment property somewhere away.
Okay.
So that is again yes, you are getting a rent and you are paying a rent.
Right.
So that is again not a bad option because it's in the end, it's your investment. In
Okay.
the end, how you look at it, it's it depends on you personally and what is your comfort zone.
Got it.
Now,
Okay.
for example, if I am retiring and I want the good amount on my investment.
Okay.
Now, if I have like a $2 million property in a posh suburb,
Right.
and if I want to rent it out, it's not going to give me a huge rent.
Okay.
But instead of that, if I have the small properties, maybe even if it is a little bit further away, my return on investment would be much more higher. Yes, the asset value is bigger here, but here I'll have more small assets, which is generating revenue for me, which I can use it for my retirement.
Right. So the cash flow will be higher.
Higher. And
Okay.
then if I'm retired, in that case, if I say that I need $50,000 as my income a year, so in that case, I need at least 2 to 3 properties, which is freehold, so that I can get that kind of an income.
Okay, so those units or apartments, if you put it on rent, you're going to have the cash flow, regular cash flow, and that is a lot of people do when they retire, so they don't have to worry about.
Again, it's a choice what
Yeah.
people have to make. So
Okay.
depending on what you are looking for it, what is the amount what you are looking for. And then many times it would be maybe $500,000 different houses people invest, or the 6 units in one block, and they would
Okay.
go with 6 units.
Yeah.
So depending on person to person and what
Right.
your aspirations are,
Okay.
it changes that way.